Just when you thought that Democrats cared, they turn around and tell you how much they don't care. So if you're not clear yet, if you are not clear yet on the fact, Jack, that Biden doesn't give two shits about you, doesn't give two shits about climate change, the Democratic Party doesn't give two shits about climate change. They're only doing this to appeal to the voters, the general base of Democratic voter, right, who cares about climate change, right? I showed you the poll the other day that showed that the second highest level of concern for issue was climate change or the Green New Deal or whatever. The Democratic Party is only woke signaling you, right? They're only trying to say we care because their constituents care. And so they're trying to get your vote by saying we care, but we're not going to do anything about the thing that you care about. Are you clear on that yet? Are you clear on that yet? Democrats dropped demand to end fossil fuel subsidies from party platform. Joe Biden and running mate Kamala Harris each ran on axing subsidies, right? They each said, oh, we're going to get rid of these subsidies because really, we believe it's time. But the party said including that in the final draft of the platform was a quote-unquote error. Again, I feel a little bit bad about laughing at people that actually believe that the Democratic Party is going to help them. A little bit bad, but mostly I don't feel bad. The Democratic National Committee this week quietly dropped language for an end to fossil fuel subsidies and tax breaks from its party platform. HuffPost has learned. On July 27, officials added an amendment to the manager's mark, a ledger of party demands voted on as one omnibus package, stating Democrats support eliminating tax breaks and subsidies for fossil fuels and will fight to defend and extend tax incentives for energy efficiency and clean energy, right? Democrats, quote unquote. The amendment was approved, but the statement, which reflects pledges presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris each made on the campaign trail, disappeared from the final draft of the party platform circulated Monday. Ha, ha, ha. In an email statement, a DNC spokesperson said the amendment was incorrectly included in the manager's mark and taken out after the error was discovered. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, we didn't really mean to put that in there. Oopsie. Activists accused the DNC of retroactively removing the amendment from the final draft of the platform. Well, yeah, because that's what they did. That's what they did. This is ridiculous. Colin Rees, a campaigner with the nonprofit Oil Change US, said by phone, this is a common sense position held by both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The DNC should immediately include it in the platform. Guess what? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Greenpeace ranked the DNC platform a C+ in a new grade set to be released Wednesday, giving the official party manifesto a lower rating than the B+ proposals Biden and Harris each ran on the presidential primary. This platform is a step backwards and we deserve better, Charlie Zhang, a campaigner at Greenpeace, said in a statement sent with the nonprofit's new ranking. Democrats remain split on fossil fuels, even as scientists say keeping the Earth's climate from changing beyond recognition depends on rapidly reducing the use of oil, gas, and coal over the next decade. Oh, but Trump is killing the planet. Oh my God, we got to vote for these Democrats. We must get Trump out now. We got to get rid of him now. He's the real danger. He's the real danger. You know what the real danger is? Is somebody saying they're doing something and when they're doing the exact opposite. That's what the real danger is. Somebody telling you we're on the case. So everybody goes, we don't have to worry about that. Let's just go on doing what we're doing. We're glad this climate change situation is over now that Trump's out. You fucking idiots. I'm sorry to be so harsh. You're fucking idiots. I'm sorry to be so harsh. I know that I'm zinging people that are following this channel. I'm sorry to be so harsh. Yeah, Trump must go so that we can bring in somebody else who won't do anything about climate change. But, whatever. I'm sorry if I made you feel bad, but you should feel bad. You should feel bad. You should feel bad about believing that Biden is going to do any more for the environment than Trump will. Okay? That's just fucking truth. And I'm cussing because I'm pissed. Because I'm pissed about this discussion. I'm just pissed about it. I'm pissed that these are the choices we have. I'm pissed, that we have the choice between somebody who's aggressively destroying the environment and somebody else who is going to aggressively destroy the environment but tell you that they're doing something about it. That's what I'm pissed about. Right? Jesus Christ. Anyways. Yeah, so they, there you go. There you go. Letting you know the Democrats aren't doing anything for you. They're not doing one thing for you about climate change. If you care about climate change, they're not doing anything for you other than woke signaling. Woke signaling. Do you understand what that means? We're getting back in the Paris Agreement. Oh, we're going to, do all this Green New Deal stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Last monkey, don't see Biden starting World War III. I don't know. Has Trump started World War III? Has he? I mean, all I hear is the Democrats say that we can't get out of Syria. We can't get out of Afghanistan. We can't meet with the Russians. Dude, are you an idiot? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to be pissed right now, but you don't even understand, like, the Democrats are more right-wing than Trump is right now about regime change, about keeping troops in other places. They are more right-wing than Trump right now. You can't even see that. I'm sorry to be pissed, man. If I hurt your feelings, I apologize, but listen. This idea that Biden is not a Republican calling himself a Democrat. How many Republicans spoke at the Democratic convention just now? They had at least 3. They had Colin Powell. They had Kasich. They had Bloomberg. They are Republicans. They are Republicans telling you that they're Democrats. If you can't see that with your own eyes, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways. All good. Last monkey, all good. Agree to disagree. But I'm telling you right now, they're Republicans. They had Republicans speaking at their convention. Why? Because they're Republicans. Telling you they're Democrats. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyways, moving on. China drought, heavy rains spark concern over grain supply as Xi Jinping launches campaign against food waste. Concerns are mounting about China's grain supply this year, despite government assurances that the summer harvest was at an all-time high. Output has been hit by drought and heavy rains, and many farmers are hoarding crops in expectation that prices will continue rising because of low supply. Uh-oh. What was it that climate change was supposed to impact pretty soon? Right? What is catastrophic climate change? What does that do? When does that begin to really impact humans? When food supplies start to run a little short? Because why? Because floods, droughts, poor growing conditions. The climate has changed the growing seasons so spectacularly that crops cannot handle the change. Standing amid his sodden field sown with peanuts, Wang Wei pulls a clump of green leaves from the mud and frowns as he looks at the tiny, underdeveloped pods at the base of the plant. The farmer from Baoshang village in the central Chinese province of Henan grumbles that they are much too small to ensure a good autumn peanut crop. Already reeling from a poor summer wheat harvest following drought in May and early June, heavy rain now threatens to hammer Wang's output with a double blow. I can't recall a year that had drought this bad. My wheat output was almost halved from last year, he said, adding he was likely to see his peanut output shrink by a third and corn production decline by roughly 10%. Too little rain in the first half, but too much in the second half. Wang's misfortune is one of a growing number of anecdotes fueling concern about China's grain supply this year. Grain security has become a buzzword in Chinese media, even though official data does not show an immediate danger of a shortage. Hold on one second. I would really like to get rid of this. China's summer harvest hit an all-time high, rising 0.9% from a year earlier, including 0.6% increase in wheat output, according to the Ministry of Agriculture. That follows 16 consecutive years between 2004 and 2019 of good harvests, with grain output last year 54% higher than it was 2004. Officials also made assurances in April that there was enough wheat and rice in storage to feed the Chinese population for a year. Yet Beijing has simultaneously stepped up efforts to remind the country about the importance of maintaining self-sufficiency in strategic grains, including rice, wheat, and corn. President Xi Jinping emphasized grain supply security during a visit to Jilin province in July and again last week when he made an unusual instruction for people not to waste food. The message on food thrift immediately turned into a national campaign, with restaurants promising to serve food in smaller portions, websites banning food shows, and lawmakers flirting with the idea of creating a legal framework to punish food waste. Wow. For some, the message has fanned memories of Mao Zedong's instructions in 1959 at the beginning of the Great Chinese Famine that people should eat less during leisure time to save food. I'd say that's pretty remarkable, don't you? Don't you think? That they're encouraging all these measures about conserving food and limiting consumption. Wow, only in a Marxist state can you suggest that people limit their consumption of food, right? You couldn't do that in a capitalist society. You can't do that in the U.S., right? Limit your food consumption, guys. Limit what you buy or what you consume, guys. We couldn't even begin to do stuff like that here. Poppy Davis, China don't mess around. Indeed. Well, this is concerning, don't you think? Don't you think? Let's move on. Well, more harvest. Bad news. UK facing worst wheat harvest since 1980s, says Farmers Union. The NFU predicts yields could be down by a third as extreme weather hits crops. The UK's, I'm sorry. Let me read this over here. Excuse me. They were showing me this article earlier, and now they decided they weren't going to show it to me. But what are you going to do? The UK's wheat harvest is likely to be down markedly this year, according to the National Farmers Union, capping a tumultuous year for British farming after consecutive seasons of extreme weather. Yields could be down by about a third, with the worst harvest since the 1980s predicted, the Farmers Organization said. We've seen very challenging conditions across the country, said Tom Bradshaw, vice president of the NFU and an arable farmer in Essex. Yields are down, and this looks like the lowest harvest in about 30 years. Excuse me. The quality seems variable, but we won't know what we're looking at until it is all in. good growing conditions over the summer, when about half the wheat harvest was brought in across the country, ended for many regions in the past week, with severe thunderstorms following the mini heat wave, which saw the longest period of temperatures over 34 C or 93.2 Fahrenheit since comparable records began in 1961. But the problems with the harvest started at the beginning of the year. While this spring was the sunniest since comparable measurements began in 1929, and substantially drier than usual, it followed the wettest February ever recorded. Storms Sierra and Dennis battered many regions of the UK in the early and middle of the month, causing widespread flooding, followed by Storm George at the end. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. The ground was already wet in many areas after a sodden winter, and the further downpour seen in February left many farmers unable to plant seeds, and a poor start to the growing season for many. Wow, sound familiar? Where have we heard this news before? Again, we've been hearing reports like this from all over the planet. The U.S., South America, China. Charlie Adams says food is way more expensive here. Jay Ackert, at the edge of extinction, aestheticism is sexy? Yes. Yeah, so this is certainly something to keep an eye on. And yes, I have also been witnessing higher food prices at the store myself. What does this have to do? What is that? Why is that happening? Is that, COVID-related problems? Is that climate change-related problems? It's hard to really tell where it's all coming from, but it certainly is affecting, people's pocketbooks. This out of France. Europe heat wave. Tons of fish found dead in French lake as water temperatures near 29 C. This is from August 14th. Got a lot of these articles from Chigozi, so thank you, Chigozi, for sending me some of the articles I'm reading today. Nearly 10 tons of fish have been found dead in the Engaine-les-Bains Lake in Val d'Oise, northern France, due to the recent heat wave that struck the region. Officials explained on Friday. Jean-Pierre N. Halbert, president of SIARE, the joint union in charge of managing the local water, said that the heat and the lack of a clear, clean water supply resulted in a decrease in oxygen in the lake, causing the death of the fish. The level of this artificial lake of 40 hectares, 1 meter deep on average, has fallen by nearly 20 centimeters, and the temperature of the water near 29 degrees during the heat wave, according to the Engaine City Council. Not sure to pronounce that either. Authorities have now set up a water oxygenation system, thank you, and plan an upstream filtering basin. Animalists Association, Paris Animaux Zoopolis, or Zoopolis, said the disaster was predictable and had previously called for such a pumping system to be developed given the upcoming heat wave. PAZ is now worried a second disaster may involve local birds due to the current poor quality of the water. The lake is known for hosting species like carps, roaches, pikes, and eels. There you go. And we can say that is that climate change related? Well, yes. I'd say that's climate change related, right? Most people are saying these heat waves are not possible without climate change's impact. Guys, we have 145 watching, 50 likes. Please like up the video. Duncan McCown says it's pronounced Onguien. Oh, thank you. Okay, that makes sense. Onguien, yes. I appreciate that. Let's move on. We may have just seen the world's highest recorded temperature ever. Has that sunk in? Death Valley's forbidding landscape registered a preliminary high temperature of 129.9 Fahrenheit on August 16th. Don't look away. How hot was it at the Furnace Creek Visitor Center at Death Valley National Park on August 16th, 2020? It was so hot that the huge electronic temperature display, which serves as a ubiquitous selfie backdrop, went on the fritz. The temperature display could not display anything anymore. Parts of the blocky digital display malfunctioned, resulting in numbers even higher than the actual mind-melting high on what turned out to be a landmark day. An automated weather station at the visitor center recorded a preliminary high of 129.9 Fahrenheit, or 54.4 C, youch, at 3:41 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Sunday. Even for heat-favored landscapes such as Death Valley, it is remarkable for temperatures to inch into such territory so late in the summer when the sun is considerably lower in the sky than at the summer solstice in late June. According to weather records researcher Maximiliano Herrera, the previous global record high for August is 127.9 Fahrenheit, or 53.3 C, recorded in Mitriba, Kuwait in 2011. If Sunday's high at Death Valley is confirmed, it will be the planet's highest temperature in almost a century and its third highest on record. And please remember, in a century means back when they measured that temperature a century ago, you know, there's dispute about, you know, how correct that temperature was that was measured a century ago. So, yeah. Owing to the fact that the two higher readings are in question, it may, in fact, be the hottest air temperature ever recorded on Earth. The 130 Fahrenheit afternoon in Death Valley fits snugly in the what next narrative of life in 2020. Indeed. But because human-caused climate change is such a ubiquitous yet gradual process, it's rarely at the top of the news. True. Tell me more. Hey guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and you can support the channel at the links below, PayPal, Patreon, Square. Also, if you'd like to watch the live streams, you can watch the live streams on my Patreon channel. You can subscribe for as little as $1. So hopefully I will see you over there, and thanks so much.